after a few weeks hiatus, and we're transforming the whole platform into a talk show about fantasy football. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and just like that, John completely logs off.
I have an older brother, and I was a big football fan. I was a 49er fan. The reason why I said I was is because I feel guilty rooting for the 49ers just because I lost interest in the sport. And every time I say that, everyone looks at me like, how do you lose interest in football? It just happened, dude. I still watch the big games. I still follow like the highlights. If you can ask me the stats, I can still follow it. But I haven't watched a full game in a long time. And I don't know what it is. I know it's so weird. I just lost complete interest in football. And don't hate me, but I do like baseball. I love baseball. You know, I love
unbelievable.
So I know.
I mean, I don't hate you for liking. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate you for like not liking football. I mean, at least you like baseball. But come on, man, it's football. It's football. You don't like dudes hitting each other and like just man, come on.
I feel like there's a better way to phrase that.
It really was, but he caught me up. Caught
myself
off guard.
Smashing each other.
I don't know how much shit I get when I say that. Like, I'm not interested. They're like, what? Are you not interested? I'm like, okay, never mind. Never gonna say that again.
Yeah, man. Just play dumb. It's the only way to go.
At least you understand it. That's half the battle is understanding the game. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's not like I'm watching a game with you guys. And I'm like, okay, what just happened here? So I know what. Trust me. It's just, I don't know. Anyhow.
There's nothing worse than having to sit and like people that ask a million questions during a movie or during a game or like, wait, why did that happen? I don't know. We're watching the same stuff. Like, chill out.
Dude, that's like, I'm a big Marvel guy. I mean, I used to collect comic books when I was young, and my wife started watching the Avengers. I think the last one, or the second to last one at the movie theater. And she's like, well, who's that? What's happening? I'm like, I knew I shouldn't have brought you. Like,
yeah.
Just all downhill from here.
Oh,
yeah, for real.
Oh, man. Awesome. Well, anyways, for today's primary topic, we're going to be discussing why you can't tackle multiple fitness goals at once and the importance of being selective on what your primary goal is. Before we dive into that, been a few weeks. What are you guys up to that's new with your own personal fitness?
After you fit, Dad?
We've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks, and like just playing around with kettlebells, continuing to doing that. I'm still messing around with the rings behind me quite a bit. So in terms of training, not much has changed. I did sell my Rogue jerk blocks actually yesterday, so I was actually really excited because I wasn't able to use them. I used them a total of 3 times. And
is that from the neighbors complaining too much?
Yeah, my neighbor literally pressing me out. She's the sweetest old lady. She's like, you got to stop that racket.
Oh.
And so I spent, $1,100 worth of jerk blocks. I'm like, what am I going to do with it? So, literally, it was so disheartening. So it took me 4 months to finally sell it because it's a very unique piece of equipment. And I finally sold it yesterday, and we sold it at a fair rate. And now I'm going to purchase a fan bike. So that's my next thing coming in.
Dope.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You'll just have to turn into wheeling and dealing exercise equipment guy.
Yeah.
Not training anybody. You're just going to supply all of OC with exercise equipment.
Dude, since March, I sold about $1,200 worth of equipment, ranging from kettlebells to medicine balls and whatnot, just because I had a bunch of extras. And it's just crazy, man. I just sold it really quick, minus the jerk blocks. But
those people selling kettlebells for $10 a pound.
One of those guys where the less I have, the better. So like I didn't need 5 12K kettlebells. I just need 2. You know what I mean? So that's how I started. I had extra bars and whatnot. I just wanted as little as basically the bare essentials. So
minimalist. I got it.
Nice.
And how about you, Taylor? What are you working on now?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny that today's topic is going to kind of tie in with my new current fitness goal. So I'll elaborate more about that when we hit the topic. But long story short, I spent this past week kind of evaluating my strength. So I've been conducting a bunch of run rep max tests, specifically on hang clean, squat, bench, and deadlift. And I'm going to take all those numbers and make a program, a strength and power program, to get me ready for when we can start playing recreational sports again for the flag football season. So So yeah, man, so
Right.
that's where I'm at right now. And then other than
Back
that,
to
just
three.
what
What
was
was
that?
that?
Sorry.
Season will resume in 2023.
Dude, if we're
For
lucky,
real.
man.
Yeah, for
Freaking
real.
California is going to keep us locked down for another 12 years.
Big facts, man.
Like,
What about you, Will? Oh, sorry.
oh man, yeah, no, I'm actually transitioning into doing a full endurance-based program. I think for probably the first time ever in my life. I absolutely
Respect.
hate endurance training, but a lot of the research that I'm diving in and just in my own personal health metrics, measuring my heart rate variability and recovery rate, you have to have a very good endurance base in order to improve your recovery rate. And my current rate is much slower than I would like, so I'll be taking the next 8 weeks to just see what the heck I can pump out and try and shed a few pounds
Nice.
while I'm at it too.
There you go. Right on. Right on. It's funny. A girl that I saw in the gym today, we were talking, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting on my cutting phase, and I'm getting ready to go into my bulking phase." And she was like, "Oh, I'm getting ready to do my cutting phase." And I'm just like, interesting. I guess the new norm is to bulk in the summer and cut in the fall and the winter, right?
Yeah, I don't know who wants to bulk in the summer. Like, I was just talking. I started working with this new client on Wednesday, and she was talking about how her and her partner vacation basically year round on top of living in SoCal. So she has to literally always be bikini ready. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a rough life to lead, man. You gotta
Yeah.
have some form of
Yeah.
off season.
Big facts.
But yeah, so that's good. Sounds like we're all being semi-productive with our lives. With that being said, John will let you go ahead and lead first. What is the importance of selecting one specific goal and why you can't attain multiple goals at once when it comes to the realm of your health?
Yeah, so I think most people's fitness goals are to lose weight and see more definition. And it's easier said than done. I think we should just kind of zero in on one thing at a time. So, for example, I mean, it's safe to say most of us can afford to lose 5 to 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's dramatic, outlooks in terms of programming. So, I think for the most part is the benefits with attacking one goal at a time is massive. So in terms of fat loss, the more you lose weight, well, guess what? The more you're going to start to see the definition, the curvature of your muscles. So
Mm-hmm.
it gives that illusion of, hey, I'm putting on muscle. You're probably not, but it's still a win for you because you're starting to kind of see more definition in your body. But to answer your question, it's very important to give yourself some time. I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago, is giving your body at least 4 to 6 weeks to adapt to the stimulus. And the stimulus just basically means anything, right? It could just mean a program designed around fat loss, building muscle. You got to give it enough time to kind of, really benefit from the actual program. And it's kind of tricky, right? Because if you look at social media or any type of a media outlet and they're promoting lose weight and build muscle, like it's very misleading. And of course, it's very persuading too, because you'll see a very attractive individual, a girl, guy, whatever. But I think for the most part, like you shouldn't get caught with that. You have to understand how the body works. And I think what they're just trying to say is what I'm trying to imply here is like when you lose weight, it does look like you're putting on muscle. So it kind of gives that illusion like, look, I lost weight and I'm putting muscle. You probably put on a half a pound, maybe a pound at most, but it looks like you put on a bunch of muscle because you shed it off, 10 pounds or so.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is just really focusing on just a fat loss program or hypertrophy, which is, bulking program. But you have to have adequate time to do that. Give yourself a legit shot. On the flip side, I do want to kind of add is you can train you can adjust your training, right? So if you're training a couple days a week and you're doing just fat loss, you can include like strength-oriented training bouts in between. That is not to say it's not a legit fat loss program, but it's just to kind of be creative. I think the biggest thing is you want to have fun with your actual training program, and the second thing is it needs to be specific. Because if you're not having fun, then what's the point if it's specific or not, right? You're just not going to want to do it. So, have fun doing so. And I think nowadays, as coaches, we've been doing a better job being more open-minded to creating that type of program. So for example, if Will wants to lose 10 pounds, the entire program is going to be fat loss oriented, but I'm going to sprinkle in some strength oriented workouts here and there just to kind of preserve and maintain. And that's really cool too, just to kind of change things up, because you don't want to just go high intensity or high volume all the time, because it will burn you out. But yeah, so you also don't want to be a weenie when you lose a bunch of weight. You know, you still want to be able to do, and that's true, man. I
Yeah.
mean, you just want to kind of vary it up. And I think nowadays, you know, a really good coach understands how to sneak in those variables to kind of enhance the program.
Yeah, I've got 3 things adding on in there. Number 1, for those Instagram ads, they forget to add that the secret ingredient for gaining muscle and losing fat simultaneously is anabolic steroids. Number 2, a funny story around my own self losing weight and then appearing more muscular. Last year, I was in Equinox working out, doing some tricep extensions, and I was in the middle of a weight cut. I was down 8 pounds of fat, you know, feeling really good about myself. And this girl walks up to me. Are you bulking right now? It's like, oh, man. That's demoralizing. But to your point, you know, I looked more muscular even though I hadn't put on more muscle just simply because I had lost that fat. So my muscles were more defined.
It's so true. I mean, you look a lot different, man. So again, when you lose body fat, you're going to see more shape, more curves. So it gives that illusion like you're looking beefier. So
Yeah. And one final point as well, too, like you said, you know, training for fat loss, you can mix in other training methods like the strength training. I think the big difference that people have to realize is that strength training is still oriented towards fat loss. You're not going to go in on a fat loss program and do strength training and add 25 pounds to your deadlift max.
exactly.
And that's where I think there's such a big disconnect is you get, well, you know, I'm trying to lose 15 pounds of fat and I'm trying to increase my deadlift by 35 pounds and I'm trying to run a 6-minute mile. Like,
Whoa. Okay.
well,
Hold on.
we pick one of those and then maybe we could go for that.
I think the hardest part too with that is we are persuaded to what our friends are doing or what social media does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking on social media because I just got done watching half of the documentary on I think it's Social Dilemma on Netflix. You guys familiar with it? So it's basically a documentary on how the media kind of influences you. It takes over your mind, basically. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like a individual wanting to lose weight, you're just going to constantly look at all these advertisements of, you know, build muscle, lose fat, and look at my ads, or all you have to do is do this exercise and you have defined quads. I'm like, stop it, dude.
There's nothing more annoying than those fit chicks. 5 moves for a toned core. You always have to have some little dance thing before.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that? What did I just observe? Transitioning though, Taylor, what are your key takeaways and focus points that you discuss with your clients when around the reasoning of selecting one goal?
Yeah, so I think John mentioned this word, and I use this word all the time with my clients, but specificity, more importantly, the principle of specificity, right? Mm-hmm. Which basically means that you got to train toward your goal. So if we're taking, you know, a football offensive lineman, an endurance runner, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put an endurance runner through an offensive lineman workout. That just doesn't make sense, right? And on the flip side, I'm not going to put an offensive lineman on an endurance runner workout because they're going to lose weight, and that's not what we want for their position, right? Mm-hmm. So I always talk to my clients about making sure we have a specific goal. I even ask them, I say, hey, like, are you aware of the steps it's going to take to get you to this goal? And they say yes. I'm like, all right, let's get after it. And then this is kind of my own personal flair too, but I always like kind of explaining like, hey, we're doing this specific exercise at this rep range because we're working toward this goal. You know, so that's something I always like trying to do just to make sure like they know I'm not just like bull crapping them or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. And then so basically you're making sure everything's cohesive in the program towards one thing. But again, just kind of any deeper reasoning behind just selecting one thing versus like, okay, today we're going to try and increase your deadlift max today. Tomorrow we're going to try and increase your endurance. Cool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to what Fit Dad said. You know, you need to give your body time to adapt to the stimulus that we're putting on our clients or ourselves even, right? Mm-hmm. So if, you know, I have a client who wants to increase their deadlift max by like, say 25 pounds, you know, we're going to focus on that key aspect for 4 to 8 weeks until we get that goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they come over and just say, hey, you know, it's like maybe week 4 of the program, hey, I want to run a marathon. That's like, whoa, hold on, big guy. Let's reel it in. Let's focus on the main goal, and then we'll revisit that, you know, after the 8-week program. But
exactly, man. You know, simplified, you know, cut down to its simplest form, the body always wants to exist in a state of homeostasis, and that homeostasis is established whenever you do something for a long enough amount of time. Anytime we're trying to create exercise adaptations, we have the stimuluses like you guys mentioned, and then you also have to have the recovery from that stimulus, right? So those two go hand in hand. You do that for a long enough period of time, then your body adapts to whatever new level you're at. If there's so many different stimuluses that your body can never recover, never establish that homeostasis, then you don't see progress in any realm. So, you know, if you're new to fitness, or even if you're an advanced athlete, you do still have to be very cautious about the programming that you take and the people that you listen to, because if someone's trying to sell you on multiple things at once, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say frequency is going to play a big part on either goal, right? But in terms of fat loss, I think you definitely need quite a bit of frequency. I can't remember the quote, but this quote that I was exposed to just recently goes something along like, it takes a while to lose weight, and it also takes a while to gain weight. So you don't gain or lose overnight. You know, it's weeks and months of that habit from happening. So same thing has to apply to kind of undo that. So you got to make sure that you have the right amount of frequency, and at least the bare minimum is 3 days a week. Nowadays, I'm putting clients 4 days a week, you know, obviously twice with myself, and just being very like, you know, vocal with them accomplishing their other 2 days when they're not with me. I think frequency is going to be a big deal. I used to be like, yeah, you work out with me as coaches, the standard's like twice a week if you can with me, and once on your own. Now I kind of really reframe that and like, nah, in total, you have to be training 4 days a week, whether it's increasing ability, muscle tone, you know, burning body fat. You need that frequency because it's going to take some time to really get that sustainable fat loss, right? Like you don't really start losing fat until like past the 7-day mark, right? First week you lose some water, which still counts, right? But and then you're going to start slowly, when you go into 14 to 21 days, you're going to start chipping away into body fat. So in order to get to that level of burning fat or building muscle, you need that constant frequency, you know, so.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, I think, you know, that definitely gives people a lot to think about, and we'll definitely cover for today's topic. One other thing, while we still got some time, I did want to introduce a new segment for us to close out on. Sorry about these. And it's going to be Scam of the Week. And I want you to take a minute and think of the worst fitness Instagram post that you saw this week, and then we'll just kind of dive into that a little bit. I can go ahead and start and just kind of discuss mine, see if I can kind of jog some ideas for you. But my scam of the week was this particular individual I saw advertising a greens powder. This greens powder will boost your mood, fix your blood pH, elevate your skin tone, cure bloating, whatever the hell that means. Boost your immune system, which you never want to boost your immune system. That's how you develop autoimmune disorders. And help you lose weight.
And
increase metabolism, elevated mood. Like, from greens? Are you kidding me? I'm going to be making a separate Instagram post later today regarding how to utilize greens powders and where they fit into your fitness regimen. But just the fact that God, it's going to balance your blood pH. Like, what? Oh,
damn.
I think with marketing, they just package it up and they hit the right buttons, and the emotionally weak persons is going to look at that like, oh, sweet. I have 9 of those 10, you know, check marks. So this is exactly what I'm needing, you know. So they're very clever, man. I see that shit all the time.
Dude, it's horrific. I'm getting very annoyed by it. So I'm going to start getting proactive and trying to put the right information out there. No, it doesn't do that. Here's what it actually does.
Right, for real, right?
I'm not going to cure your bloating, because there's no cure for bloating. That's just a natural digestive response.
True.
Jesus. All right. Has anything come to mind for either of you two?
Man. It's funny. I always tend to kind of avoid following those pages for that specific reason because I'm just gonna get tilted off viewing that. But some stuff that actually Will here has sent me that's tilted me is it's just just the what's that called, like that red line energy drink, all about those to get you laser focus and help you get through all your workouts and whatnot.
The
It's
exact
like,
quote was, "Will increase your power output by 13%."
yeah, like what? No. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that, dude. It's just, oh my God, man. It's false marketing, scamming, trying to get people to spend their hard-earned money on basically a fruit drink, Like,
Trash.
Jesus.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah,
calculate
100%.
a 13% increase? Guaranteed 13% increase across the, like, what?
Right.
What
And
is
that's
it?
that's not including form, right? We both know. You know what I'm talking about. We both know the form wasn't there. So,
Swinging bicep curls, man.
Dude, I
Unbelievable.
was
right.
never into energy drinks, dude. I mean, the Celsius is probably like one of the cleaner ones, but I just
100%. Yeah.
still not a fan of any energy drink. Not because even the cleaner stuff is pretty cool, but it just was never for me, But the Red Line, I probably had one sip of that back in my heyday, and it just tasted like cough syrup, man. I'm sure
So,
they,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's like, how can you drink this? I mean, you get the Bangs, the C4 drinks. I mean, there's so many out there, right? It's just garbage.
Yeah.
They say
Rotten
increase
blueberry with a hint of nail polish.
Jesus, man. More like acetone. Jesus. I guess it is nail polish. But, yeah, no, I mean, for me, like, I kind of ran out my pre-workout like a long time ago, and I actually started using coffee as my pre-workout, if you will. And I've been
Coffee and creatine.
yeah, coffee and creatine, exactly. But I've been noticing that it's basically the same thing.
that.
Pre-workout is caffeine with like a little added bonuses here and there. But I mean, one cup of coffee, man, gets me through my workout. But with
Power.
that being said, I did order some Project One just for you, buddy. But no, coffee is for sure in my opinion, the cheaper way of getting through your workout and whatnot.
Yeah, there's like coffee, cocaine, Project One. I swear,
Big
I don't know how
facts.
these things are legal half the time, but
So Taylor, how much coffee do you drink as a pre-workout? I think it's all variable, right? Like for me, if I'm going to work out in the morning, I would have for sure. I'm not measuring, but it's less than half a cup of coffee. It's like a couple splashes. But I'm just curious, how much coffee do you have, for your pre-workout?
Yeah, let's see. So the coffee I use, like a serving size is like half a teaspoon. So I'll do one full teaspoon, so about two serving sizes. And then let's see, the pot is like 8 ounces, so I'll fill about 2 ounces of water. So roughly it's about a cup of coffee, give or take. And
Okay.
I'll throw in some of that collagen protein from First Form. And
Nice.
yeah, man, no, I'm good to go. For me, that's like the perfect amount.
dang,
For
I
sure.
feel like a
And
caffeine addict over
you
here.
ever get bloated? Have like a full cup of coffee right into your workout?
No, so actually, what the reason why I do that is for that early morning bowel movement, right? Because like, who wants to work out without having that proper morning bowel movement? So I find that flush out my system, and I'm lean and ready to go. I don't have like that bloating feeling, like I
Sure,
would on
we
some
both know
pre-workouts.
someone that could get you some detox teas where you can crap your brains out first thing in the morning.
Now we're talking about
Oh boy.
Yeah, transition to
I
fast.
don't know, is that serious? So like for me, I can have, again, call it an eighth of a cup, and then 5 minutes go right into the workout. So it's going to take you some time to drink your full cup. Obviously, you're not chugging it. And between your last sip of your coffee until your workout, like what's the gap? Like I'm just curious.
Like how long I have until I actually work out from that last
Correct.
cup of coffee.
Correct.
So I was always taught that about 30 minutes for any kind of caffeine, that's what you need for it to kick in. So I just timed it out that I wake up, eat breakfast, drink my coffee, 30 minutes, kind of mess around. Then by the time 30 minutes is up, I'm basically doing my first set or whatever. So
Gotcha.
I include like my warm up in it. That way the caffeine kind of starts stimulating, and then we're good to go.
Have
Gotcha.
either of you taken a caffeine nap before?
A caffeine.
It's
No, I
quite
have not.
incredible. So you drink your drink. So like Taylor says, typically going to take, it's about 30 to 45 minutes for the caffeine to act on the adenosine receptors and shut those down. So you drink your coffee, you nap for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you wake up and you're just freaking ready to kill.
Ready?
Like,
Yeah, I can
it's
see
amazing.
I've never
I can see that.
Oh, yeah, that was apparently the San Francisco Equinox survival method, as they would all just go in the break room and take caffeine naps in between sessions.
I respect that.
I've done it on occasions if I have like this morning, for example, I had a client from 6 to 6:30, and I didn't sleep super well last night. So I woke up, drank my coffee at 6 while I was coaching this session, took a nap 6:30 to 7, and then I woke up at 7 and it was just ready to go. So,
Nice. I like that.
but yeah, and as far as the amounts of coffee as well too, from the studies that I've seen, typically 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine pre-workout is where you really get into that sweet spot. Now, that is a rather high amount of caffeine, so it's not something you want to do on a consistent basis, which is why I personally, like, I'll use the Project One, which has, say, the 300 or 350 milligrams of caffeine pre-workout, and I'll use that on the days when I'm doing high-intensity training, powerlifting, and then if I'm doing a cardio day, then I'll just have 1 cup of coffee beforehand, because obviously I don't need that gigantic boost.
What does that equate to in terms of just drinking a cup of coffee? Like
average cup, I believe 75 to 125 milligrams or so. It really depends on the coffee brand that you go with.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So typically I'd say probably a comfortable range would be about like 2 cups.
Gotcha.
And then I'll usually add pink salt. So if you look at the book, The Salt Fix, he discusses how caffeine depletes our sodium, which hinders our performance. So I'll add pink salt to the coffee. Typically add creatine. Creatine is something I supplement on a regular basis. Does provide a lot of good cognitive protective benefits as well as increasing your power output. And then like Taylor mentioned, I'll usually add the collagen protein as well too. Easy way to sneak in some extra protein and super easy on your digestive system as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we definitely went in a super roundabout method. I don't think we still heard a post yet from John, so we'll give you.
Well, there's so many, but this is kind of on topic. So today I received a private DM from this dude, I won't call him out, was just very ungenuine, was like, hey, I noticed that you do online coaching program. Keep it up. I'm very interested. And when you get stuff like that, you know it's like Mickey Mouse. So, of course, what you're going to do is you do your due diligence and you click on to see who this cat is. Mm-hmm. And this is a cat who's just trying to market online fitness coaching. And that just pisses me off because I get that a couple times a day. And I'm like, dude, why do you got to be so, like, unhuman? Like, to say, great job. I am interested. You know, send me the details. I know you're not interested. You just want me to respond so you can try to show me your shit. And, you know, it just, you know, I can delete it. I don't say anything. I don't waste my time. But it's just kind of sad, man. We're just like, you know, people become sharks. You know, there's no soul, no heart, you know, whether it's this guy or an advertisement or a shitty trainer who just, let's just train and put no time and effort. Like that entire circle just bothers me. I think it's all just a sham. And when I see that, I just get pissed off, man. So anyhow.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it sounds like you're at least getting nicer or phrased more nicely. Can't figure out how to say that properly. DMs. I receive so many DMs where it's like the scam marketers, and they always lead with, "Wow, we checked out your page, and you should be doing way better than you are." That's insulting, man. Like, fuck off. Like, if you sign up for our service, we'll triple your engagement and quadruple your followers. Like, no, you lost me. If you're gonna start off a sales pitch by insulting someone, that's game over.
Yeah, right. Jesus.
All right. I think that about closes out today's episode. It's good stuff, and we will be back next week. Another one.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Yes, sir.